y'allers. It's Sako Toomey, also known as Casboy. One of these days I will put my actual opening thing, bump, whatever, in the beginning of these videos. But hello, Christina. You're still here. Oh my gosh. I thought you would have left. Oh, thank you for sticking around. My concentrating face. My concentrating face is hilarious, is what it is. My Vlogmas today is going to be so boring. I have no idea. I have no idea what to do. Actually, I could just look in my bullet journal. I have a bunch of stuff in there for ideas. A bunch of tags and whatnot. Hi, doll. Long time no see. Nice new user picture. I'm going to blow that up a little bit more. Yeah. It's adorable. That's adorable. I have my book, but I'm not going to break it out until I'm, I don't know, about 5 minutes in, 10 minutes in, something like that. Wait for people to come inside. Excuse me. I have anti-cat pot fries, which are making me a little on the burpy side. Burpy. All walnut ink. Okay. Hello. Hello. I get lost during Nano because I'm not doing Nano stuff. And now it's Christmas, so I'm kind of not around always. Yeah, I get that. Hi, Christina. But yeah, I get that. I sort of did Nano. Sort of. And I'm trying Vlogmas. Trying. I did it in 2017 and 2018, and I didn't do it last year. But I will do it this year. I don't know if I'll ever talk about writing. I can do just a quick update on the things that are my week. Like the files that I have open on my computer. That I could do a video on that, actually. All the files that are open right now on my computer. Which is hilarious. Let me close a couple of things. No, you know what? I'm going to leave this. I'm going to clean up while recording. That'll be fine. I'll record while I am closing things. I wonder what my memory looks like right now. Ooh, free that up. That's better. Okay. It's probably because I have multiple Adobe products open. I just had a notification and It doesn't want to show it to me. Commented on a post. I will do the same. Just not right now at this instant. It's 6 minutes in. So last time, for the last 2 streams, I have talked about Yule. And technically speaking, I am kind of in the mood to continue talking about Yule. But we can also talk about Imbolc as well. Technically, we're supposed to be talking about Imbolc. Uh-oh. I think I'm back. Am I back? I was frozen for a hot minute. Let's talk about Imbolc. Imbolc. If Candlemas, also called Candlemas, day be sunny and bright, winter will have another flight. If Candlemas day be cloudy with rain, winter is gone and won't come again. Yeah, ain't that the truth? Welcome back, doll. Imbolc is the first fire festival in the dark half of the wheel. This is a festival where we begin to see the light of life returning to Earth as the sun begins noticeably waxing into spring. Imbolc is one of the 4 Celtic fire festivals: Samhain, Imbolc, Beltane, and Lughnasadh, I think is how you say it. I call it Lammas. I don't mess with the Gaelic. Which celebrates the return of light after the darkness of winter. This is also a time when the goddess changes from the crone to the maiden. So currently, we are in the time of the crone. And then come February, we are in time with the maiden. Magically, Imbolc is not associated with the sun and fire, but also with life, water, and divination. It is the midpoint between the winter solstice and the spring equinox. However, the festival is celebrated over multiple days and is not as time-sensitive as Samhain. A festival of Celtic origin, Imbolc is originally thought to have been celebrated February 1st. However, it has moved to being observed on February 2nd, which merges it with the Candlemas celebration of the Catholic Church. I did not know that. Currently, the Festival of Imbolc begins on what is known as February Eve, January 31st, and continues through the end of February 2nd. The etymology of Imbolc's origins actually is a little tricky to wrap up our heads around, even in its seeming simplicity. At its root, Imbolc is an Irish word thought to translate to "in the belly." Other sources believe that the word originates from an older medieval word, oamilk, which translates to ewe's milk. Both translations do refer to ewes, as this is the time of year they are pregnant. Given that this is a fertility holiday, it should come as no surprise that the naming and origins reflect that. Interestingly enough, I'm sorry, I was distracted by bad grammar. Interestingly enough, while we give credit to the Celtic people for the observation of Imbolc, it is thought that the earlier indigenous Irish not of Celtic origin celebrated the day first. St. Bridget's Day. In today's world, the Irish still celebrate Imbolc yearly, in a day known as the Feast of St. Bridget, or St. Bridget's Day. Retaining some of its pagan origins, St. Bridget's Day became a Christian holiday in honor of the Irish patron St. Bridget of Kildare. Bridget was born in County Kildare, Ireland in 450. Her mother is thought to have been Broca, a Pict slave who became a Christian after being baptized by St. Patrick. Bridget's father was a Leinster chieftain, but this did not change her status as being born to a slave in slavery. She is attributed with converting several Druid temples into Christian monasteries in Ireland, and she had qualifying miracles throughout her lifetime that lifted her to sainthood, such as turning water into beer and curing two sisters who were mute by touching them with her blood after an injury. If ever there was an Irish saint, it would be one who could turn water into beer. I don't need that up anymore, I guess. Most popularly, that's a word. Most popularly, Imbolc is thought to be most closely associated with the goddess Bridget. This is shown in later years as the festival was converted by the Christian Church into what is now known as the Feast of St. Bridget. The goddess Bridget was especially important to the Celtic people during the last phase of the winter season. Bridget was not only the goddess of childbirth and healers, but also the goddess of hearth and fire. During Imbolc, it is believed that her light will help to take the darkness out of winter and rejuvenate the earth with the warmth and light of the sun. Only in Ireland, am I right? I know, right? If ever there were an Irish saint. As the festival became popular throughout the British Isles, traditions such as creating the British Cross and bride dollies grew in popularity. I did that quite a bit last year. We did British Cross, and then we out of paper that had like flower seeds in the paper. It was like recycled. And so we wrote our intentions on it. We made it into British crosses, and then we buried the thingies, the British crosses. As the festival, yep, I read that. The Bridget's cross, an Irish tradition, was a 3 to 4 armed cross made out of woven rushes. These crosses were then hung over doors and windows for protection to welcome the goddess Bridget into hearth and home. Many scholars debate if St. Bridget was a real person or if she was a Christianization of the Celtic goddess Bridget. Some scholars believe the overlap between the person and the goddess occurred after her death, making it easier to convert the pagan Irish population. Frigga, goddesses and gods. To many, Bridget absolutely embodies Imbolc. However, to many heathens, it is Frigga who dominates the season. Thinking in a secular way, the beginning of February brings with it love, lust, which can turn into children, and time spent inside to get out of the cold. Frigga was a goddess who wore many hats, but she was best known for being the wife of Odin, the queen of Aesir, the goddess of fertility, marriage, hearth, and home. Essentially, all of the things that Frigga lores over are themes to Imbolc as well. While the most popular deities for Imbolc celebrations are goddesses Brigid and Frigga, this is a time of year for generally every god and goddess of love and fertility. Imbolc brings with it the first thoughts of the earth's fertility. Wait, that doesn't seem right. First thoughts of the earth's fertility, yes, okay. The possibility of spring on the horizon. Much how popular secular culture celebrates love during this time of year, the gods are up to it too. Oh, Valentine's Day. I get it. I get it. For the specific holiday observance of Imbolc, aside from the generalized Lord and Lady and the goddess Brigid, there are not many singled out gods or goddesses. There are other holidays that are closely associated with Imbolc that may overlap in some way, shape, or form, but Imbolc is a purely Celtic origin holiday that is meant to focus on shaking off the cold and dark of winter and welcoming in the life-giving light and fertility of the sun. Recovery and Renewal Festival. Imbolc is the perfect time to renew your devotion to your craft and to your gods. While we start the witch's year in autumn with Samhain, most of us do not begin our path on that day. And if you're like me, you probably don't mark on your calendar the first time you read a book on Wicca, paganism, or witchcraft and decided, hey, this might be for me. Well, while I know I started sometime in 2001, I'd be hard-pressed to nail down an exact anniversary. Oh, jeez. When did I get into witchcraft? It was during the school year. I was in math class when I finally decided I was going to do it. Holy crapola. What was that, 1996? 97? How about you guys? When did you start getting into witchcraft? And I mean like way back, as far back as you can go. Because you might have fallen out of it and fallen back into it and, all of that stuff. Yeah, you were a kid. Yeah. Technically speaking, so was I. "17-year-old me." And there were only 2 books out that were available to my demographic. One being Buckland's Big Blue Book, and the other being To Write a Silver Broomstick, which I thought was especially since To Write a Silver Broomstick was such contrast from the Big Blue Book, But I met my high priestess in math class. She's like, let's start a coven. And I was like, that sounds awesome. Let's do that. And there were 3 of us, mother, maiden, crone. And there were messed up things about it. So I didn't start voluntarily. I fell into it. My first AP, So I was like 10. I gotcha. Oh, stretchy, stretchy, stretch. I'm sorry today's thing was so late. I had guys cleaning out my vents. Now I found my deities very recently. Oh, Took forever, but it happened. My path has not been linear. My path has not been linear either. Holy crap. Actually, I'll talk about the stuff that I got in my Yule box. That's not my Yule box. Speaking of non-linear, I got some like grimoire art for Borage, which is in my Book of Mirrors, for Meadowsweet, which is in my Book of Mirrors, and then for Mistletoe. And that more grimoire art for Yule. Got a bunch of herbs. Got a bunch of honey and incense, frankincense and myrrh. Got holly essence, holly floral essence, which supposedly you can use to hedge ride with. It's supposed to make your psychic stuff better. And then a tincture that does pretty much the same. Uva ursi. Uva ursi rose. And it's got special instructions on how to go about making this an actual tincture that you can use, which I assume you drink. I don't know. And then beeswax, which I'm kind of excited about. I'm not gonna lie. It's not a candle. It is literally just wax. Well, it is a candle, but it's rolled. See? Stick this back inside. And then I got some honey to go with my tea, I guess. I might have some honey, which I usually do in the summer. There's this vendor called the Bee People that... Oh, and food wrap. I think they also gave me a candle. Oh, that is the candle. The bee there. That is the candle. Candles are your favorite things about rituals? That's really interesting, considering it is often a both a textile and an like a visual thing. Pyrophoric. Oh. Well then. But yeah, that... I guess what they're getting at is that you would celebrate the anniversary of your Imbolc. Oh, putting this anniversary type ritual around Imbolc happened pretty much naturally for me. Okay. At the time I started doing this, I was living in northwest Montana. The winter was usually long and harsh, and it allowed a lot of time to reflect on myself, my practices, and my future. During this time of year, most places in the northern hemisphere are on the cusp of spring. Light is returning after months of cold darkness. The earth is once again pregnant with the magic and possibility of new life. This is special time when we can embody this light and take a moment to appreciate it within ourselves and our craft. Oh, pyrophobic. I totally understand being pyrophobic. That makes sense. I'm super admirable of you to overcome such a fear. This little ritual is truly for everyone, because regardless of whether you have been formally initiated into a coven or you have a solitary practice, there was once a day when you made a personal commitment to yourself to continue following your path. I had this. I was basically born again, as it were. I started with Wicca, and then I fell out of it because it left a bad taste in my mouth. The group dynamics and stuff, and I went back to Buddhism, and then I started again in 2016. Oh, it's on the other side of the room. I think 2016, I was like, I'm going to get back into this. I'm going to reread those books and check out what's on Pinterest and blogs and stuff like that. But there came a day where I was just like, no, I think I'm going to take this seriously again. Yum. Why don't you drink some water? Okay. Tea will have to suffice. Which goes wonderfully with my honey. Thinking back to when I first started doing this ritual in a solitary and occasionally group way, I would be lying if I said I had it all figured out. The most important thing to remember while doing this is your commitment to yourself. The commitment we made as pagans and witches before we found a god or goddess is the most important commitment we can keep. Thinking back to when I first started doing this ritual in a solitary and occasionally, I read that already. Additionally, if things don't feel right as written, change them to fit you. Reading how others initiate their rituals lays framework for supporting how we build our own. If something I've written doesn't speak to you, replace it with something that does. Also, yay, water. Yeah. There comes a point, however, when beginning witches realize they either no longer want to or can't remain as a solitary island and continue growing spiritually. At some point, we almost all branch out, at least a little bit. If you have a desire to do more group-oriented spell work and rituals, finding a coven might be the next phase of your journey. I have found that the best way to meet more witches is to go to places witches gather. Your local metaphysical or witch shop, crystal store, drum circle, concert. When you get there, branch out. Talk to people and really try to engage. Some stores maintain a list of events that they or others host in the store. By attending these events and networking, you will soon find your way to creating lasting and meaningful witch relationships. I'm in a study group. It's almost coven-like, but not quite. There's a camaraderie that camaraderie that I felt when I was in Wicca. Kind of like you're in the thick of it with them. But we're just classmates. We're all peers. There's no high priestess. There's no hierarchy. We're all equal. We all come from different walks of life. Okay, so about this ritual. It's a self-initiation and renewal ritual. Oh. So it's like having a renewal of vows. As the earth is welcoming the light in the light of life, we'll take our cues from nature and welcome that same energy into our lives and homes. A few days before Imbolc, you'll want to build an altar for this ceremony, either indoors at an east-facing window or outdoors. Gather the following items. I think I have all these things. 2 red candles, 2 orange candles, 2 white candles, a cauldron, salt, rubbing alcohol, fresh flowers, your favorite food or drink, a notebook and pen, and a set of unscented tea lights. Set the candles in a semicircle. In the center of the candle arc, arrange your cauldron, salt, and alcohol. Then arrange your flowers, food, or drink offering, and pen in a way that's pleasing to you. The tea light candles don't need to be placed on your altar, but could be stored nearby. They'll be used during the ritual. I like to take the first day of Imbolc in reverence to my gods, the second day in remembrance of my path, and the third day in celebration. So traditionally, this ritual should be performed on February 1st, either as the sun is rising or while it is still up in the sky. Light 1 tea candle in each room of your house, not counting the hallways. Start at the far east room in your house. Light a candle anywhere that is safe to light. Repeat this process going clockwise through your home, welcoming in and literally bringing in the light of the sun and its blessings. When the clock has come full circle, it is time to begin to work at the altar, i.e. midnight? I don't know what that means. This is not a petitioning ritual or a ritual involving gods or ancestors, but if you feel intuitively called to welcome them into the space with you, then call out to them. After all, you are choosing to share your spiritual life with them. Tea lights for the win. I have some, like, right over here. That red box that you see kind of tucked. That is a box of tea lights that smell like apple. Light the candles in a semicircle on the altar from left to right as you repeat this phrase. I'm not really into invocations like that. So maybe you would be interested in making a song out of invocations or something. From darkness to light and from light to night, renew and restore with these I do pour. Okay. Once all the candles are lit, prep the eternal fire that is in all of our hearts. Pour an inch of salt into your cauldron. Pour the rubbing alcohol on top until the salt is saturated. Set it aside. When you are ready, take one of the candles and carefully touch the flame to the salt in your cauldron. Doing this will ignite the alcohol and create a small fire. As the fire burns, visualize your intention and dedication to your craft. What drew you to this path? What keeps you there? How can you continue to grow throughout the coming year? Take your notebook and pen and write down the affirming I will statements. As each year progresses, you will be able to look back at the prior year's I wills and see how many you were able to accomplish. Last year I wrote, I will write a book. Maybe I will write a book. I certainly know enough to do so. Yum yum. When you have finished writing, look into the fire and focus your energy. Read each of your I will statements aloud 3 times. The first time, you read it for yourself. The second time, you read it for your shadow self, which we'll talk about on page 148. The third and final time, you read it for your spirit. Allow the words to slowly sink into each level of consciousness, manifesting the will and desire you have to enact change. We are playing with fire. Damn right. As you draw the ritual to a close, focus your attention to the food or drink that you brought as an offering. You are the one you are offering to. Partake in the indulgence, knowing that by receiving and offering yourself, you are sealing a pact to take the next year head on and tackle your goals. And then the next one is Ostara, but we'll save Ostara for tomorrow. So, I guess that's one way to clean out your cauldron. My cauldron's full of ashes. So, I guess to put an inch of salt in it, and then rubbing alcohol and then burning it with tea light fire. I suppose that's the way to go. It is not something I consider it's not something I would consider doing to my cauldron. My cauldron is heat cured. Fire indeed. Oh, look at my cat. Okay. So how about you guys? I know there's only 2 of you in the chat right now, and Doll already answered this question. But when did you start getting into metaphysical stuff? When did you make the pledge that you were going to pursue this path of life? Did you? I'm going to consume this honey. I think I'll stick the other 2 in my stocking. So a cauldron is like a wok or grandma's casserole dish. Don't scrub it. The flavors accumulate. It's cast iron. I don't cook out of it. I don't make potions or anything like that, so I don't need to keep it oiled or anything like that. That is a long story. I don't think the character count will allow for proper answer. That is... Now I'm intrigued. But that's okay, because my answer wouldn't have been text-worthy either. But yes, I also believe that you don't wash out you very rarely wash out your cast iron. I mean, you clean it, but that's more like you're just getting the gunk out. And then you let the stuff accumulate. I burn incense in mine mostly these days. I used to burn my sigils, but now I have begun doing electronic sigil work, which has been effective. Though I feel bad because I summoned my guy and then I broke down my blanket fort. But I'm putting up another blanket fort for Imbolc. For Valentine's Day, really, but Imbolc. For myself. So, You're the Witch here is claiming that Imbolc is the time to renew your vows. So, I guess that is something that I will look forward to doing and stick it in my bullet journal or something. Electronic sigil is nice. Oh, I've worked on some of my singing sigils. That's awesome. I would love to hear them sometime. Oh. Headline of half of it. When I was a kid, my family thought I was being called for the priesthood. In my early 20s, it was becoming clear that it was something else that was called. Question is, what was that something else? Chaos? Just the sheer theory of it all. Well, we're at 45 minutes, and I have run out of things to say. Happy Yule. I will talk about Ostara tomorrow. No, I won't. Sunday. I will talk about Ostara on Sunday. Could have been the Pope by now. Instead, I'm an author tuber. Yay? Yeah. Definitely know those feels. I should have my own, art studio right now. Well, I technically do, but, I mean, be able to afford a studio. My teens were full of those Catholics are forcing me to do stuff I don't want to do, and I'm a pagan, screw your misconceptions. Yeah. I will save the long comment I was typing for another time. Looking forward to you. I am looking forward to Yule. I don't call it as such. I am a big proponent for, I think I'm most attached to the darkest night, or the longest night, excuse me. The longest night. I'm so glad. Honey, honey, honey. Oh, Whitey. Roman Catholicism, occultism in the closet. Ain't that the goddamn truth? They think they're being all like wise and I'm having like Da Vinci Code flashbacks where they're trying to use Catholicism to like mean extra shit. Am I the only one who like rolled my I rolled my eyes at the ending of the Da Vinci Code? At least the book. I don't know. I haven't watched the movie because the book disappointed me so hard. Old English Father Christmas is a part of my personal pantheon. Cool. My Father Christmas is Odin. Which I think we were talking about yesterday. The callback of between Santa Claus, which was, invented by Coca-Cola in the 20s, and then frickin' Odin, the All-Father. All right. I'm going to wrap up this stream because I can. Green Pan, Father Christmas, lead on. I'm recently back around here, so I don't know the stream schedule changes. Oh, I'm not scheduled this time. I'm back to 10 o'clock in the morning usually. But tomorrow is writing virtual retreat. So I will be doing things in the morning and I will be doing things in the evening. Posture check. Good afternoon, Books by Adrian. You caught me on my way out. Thank you, drive through, and we'll catch you guys on the flip side.